while everybody is paying attention to the Bitcoin price and its sudden drop, what we should all be wondering, really, what kind of a deal did Binance make with the US government? Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had a great weekend. This article actually dropped, December 6th, and I was like, you know what, we got to cover this. And frankly, I didn't see anybody really talk about this. And this is actually scarier than a lot of the stuff that's going on. While everybody's sitting there fighting over ordinals, fighting over Luke and his ocean mining, and people are sitting there freaking out about what's going on with the Bitcoin price. This is happening, okay? Binance. There's a lot of data that has gone through Binance, and the US government is about to get all of that data and more. Anyways, let's dive into this. The Binance Crackdown will be an unprecedented bonanza for crypto surveillance. One attraction of Binance, as it amassed well over 100 million crypto trading users globally, it openly told the United States government that as an offshore operation, it didn't have to comply with the country's financial regulations and money laundering laws. So they tried to tell the U.S. government to go pound sand, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy, world police. Anyways, then late last month, those years of brushing off U.S. regulators caught up with the company in the form of one of the most punitive money laundering criminal settlements in the history of the U.S. Justice Department. And of course, I did clips on this. I will put links to the clips that I did so you can watch those if you want first and then come back to this one. Anyways, the crackdown doesn't just mean a chastened Binance will have to change its practices going forward. It means that when the company is sentenced in a matter of months, it will be forced to open, and this is the key, its past books. So not just from the last 2 years, guys. Not just from the last 2 years. This is bad. This is very bad. Anyways, what was once a haven for anarchic crypto commerce is about to be, so you got to keep in mind, right? I'm reading this story. There's a framing to it. The framing is Binance bad, government good, okay? Government regulation helps us, the little peons. All right, so just that's, to me anyways, this is the framing, because they always try to do that, right? You got to do the protagonist and the antagonist. Otherwise, you don't know who's good and who's bad. Got to tell me what to do, what to think. Anyways, what was once a haven for anarchic crypto commerce is about to be transformed into the opposite, perhaps the most Fed-friendly business in the cryptocurrency industry, retroactively offering more than a half a decade of users' transaction records to U.S. regulators and law enforcement. Much of the attention on the settlement focused on founder Changpeng Zhao giving up his CEO role, right? Oh, yeah, he's giving up CEO role. He's going to pay hundreds of millions of dollars. Binance is going to pay $4.3 billion. They've learned a lesson, right? But Binance's settlement agreement with the DOJ and the U.S. Treasury Department also stipulate a strict new regime of data sharing. No, not data sharing, data pillaging. That's really what it is. With law enforcement and regulators, the company has agreed to comply with regulators' requests for information, a term that carries none of the evidence or suspicion requirements necessary for obtaining a warrant or even a subpoena, to the point of producing any information, testimony, document, record, or other tangible evidence. They just want to request some information about your transactions, that's all. Binance has also agreed to scour all of its transactions from 2018 to 2022 and file suspicious activity reports for anything it deems a potential violation of U.S. law from that 5-year period. The SAR lookback means the company will now be actively scrutinizing its customers in retrospect. I'm sure there's like some people listening to this, they're sweating right now. Like, oh, damn it. Anyways, look, I mean, if you didn't think that this was eventually going to happen to such a massive exchange with all of those billions of dollars, you need to understand the banks. Okay, look, this may be the government that does it, but you need to understand the banks do not like competition. They are the only ones that are allowed to launder money. You're not allowed. We are poor peons. That we must do what we're told. Okay? You leave it up to the banks. The bankers are the intelligent architects that understand how to run this world, and they are the best that humanity has. Okay? So we're going to do what they say. It's for our safety. /S, if you didn't realize that was insane sarcasm. Anyways, those SARs are collected by FinCEN, the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Division, but then made available to law enforcement agencies from the FBI to IRS criminal investigations to local police. In other words, a freaking honeypot. Okay? And all of this new scrutiny will be overseen by a monitor. Oh, I like this one. A monitor firm chosen by the U.S. government, but paid by Binance. It's like, so what happened there? Like, did Binance just become like a beta cock or something? Anyways, this is insane. Okay. Anyways, an in-house watchdog assigned to make sure Binance is complying in good faith. Now, another side of the argument is, hey, they may be making this seem really terrible so that everybody thinks that really bad things are happening. But if you ask me, what this does is it just simply sets the stage for them to essentially go through, try to find the situations, or we'll say the transactions that went through Binance that are seemingly the worst, that would make the biggest splash, that would have the most media attention. That's what they're going to focus on. Okay. I believe that is what they're going to focus on. There may be like some smaller type, I guess like some less prominent type of activity that they may also focus on. Again, right? It's perception. Perception is reality. So look, we don't want you just to think that it's only the big, terrible people that we're watching. We're watching the little people too. We might make an example out of them to let you know you can't get away with stuff. Okay? You got to go through our centralized, monitored third party that issues you permission when and how you can do things, okay? I don't think Binance's customers have the slightest clue of the ramifications of this plea and consent decree. It's unprecedented, says John Reed Stark, who spent 20 years as an attorney at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. He's never seen anything like this, because everything that's ever been made has always been really within the firm grasp of the financial system. So this is the first time that they're ever like, uh-oh, we're going to be displaced. Uh-oh. Keep in mind, guys, this has nothing to do with keeping you safe. They don't give a shit about drug dealers. They don't care about money laundering. It has nothing to do with that, okay? It has nothing to do with that. It all has to do with the maintenance of power, control, and their moat. That's all. What they do, what is done is that these narratives are used in order to garner our consent. Well, it's for the people. It's for the good of the people. You know, there are very bad people laundering money. How have they been laundering money, though, all this time? Through the banks. It's so sad. It is so sad. Anyways, all right, I'll stop. I have a hard time not going off on rants with this kind of stuff. One U.S. prosecutor who asked not to be named because they weren't authorized to speak to media about the case calls the degree of access to Binance's records described in the agreement kind of crazy, and remains in disbelief at the idea of Binance abiding by this settlement. If Binance does comply, however, the prosecutor adds that it would be a game changer in taking down transnational syndicates doing evil deeds worldwide and trying to shield those crimes by using cryptocurrency to move money. Anybody ever, and again, I hate to bring up the tinfoil hat takes, but it is true. Whatever happened to the list of the people that went to Epstein's Island? Like everybody understands, like, right? Like Epstein was the scapegoat, right? Epstein and Ghislaine, right? And whoever else was not powerful enough was the scapegoats in order to hide the incredibly powerful people. I don't understand something. How did all of that happen through the traditional banking system? Where were the regulators? Where are the checks and balances? Where'd they go? Binance's chief compliance officer, Noah Perlman, tells Wired that Binance has collected know your customer information on users and cooperated with the U.S. law enforcement on data requests for the past 2 years. He added that all reports to the monitor firm inside Binance would be confidential, as in not shared publicly. only with the US government. Yeah. We all know, we all understand how it works, right? A human being is on their own is fallible, stupid, lazy, incapable. But once you take this person and you put them into the machine that is government, they become all knowing, they become all powerful, they become capable of making superior decisions at any time. Okay? This is what the power of government can do for you. But Perlman also says he's excited. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's thrilled for the new era of I'd like to keep my job. Anyways, the agreement represents for Binance. I feel like this is a great opportunity. That's one way to frame it. A great opportunity for Binance to set the standard for what compliance in this industry should look like. For the general community, removing concerns of illicit finance in crypto is one of the most important things we can do to drive mainstream adoption. So this again, right? Just like CZ paying the over $100 million, $140 million, and Binance that's going to pay the $4.3 billion. Listen, they have to suffer the public humiliation. They have to kiss the ring, okay? And let everybody know that, hey, we're playing on your team, so don't mess with us. So this is not an opportunity. This is simply just a destruction of freedom. Casting a giant net and putting everybody in it and then picking and choosing who the winners and losers are. This is not for you and me, people. This is not for us. This is for the government. This is for the banking elite. This is for the people and the corporations that control the financial rails. That's all there is to it. Human Rights Foundation Chief Strategy Officer Alex Gladstein calls the settlement an overreach that he believes is part of a U.S. regulatory effort to set a precedent for crypto as a whole. They're going to try to force people to use these regulated platforms where everything is monitorable. Gladstein says he adds that Binance is an unsavory corporation, but still, it's alarming what the U.S. government is doing. EFF, which is the Electronic Frontier Foundation, is increasingly worried about law enforcement turning to intermediaries such as cryptocurrency exchanges and hosted wallet providers to obtain sensitive user data. The EFF's cryptocurrency-focused attorney, Marta Belcher, wrote in a 2020 blog post, the fact that the transactions are made through cryptocurrency rather than traditional financial channels indicates that the transactions are more likely to be sensitive. See, again, this is narrative forming, okay? If you decide to use cryptocurrency, you have something to hide. The same way that if you dare to want your own privacy for anything, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Not allowed to have privacy. People who demand privacy are criminals. Only criminals want privacy. This is fucking nuts, okay? This is nuts and disgusting. The fact that the transactions are made through cryptocurrency rather than through traditional financial channels indicates that the transactions are more likely to be sensitive and that the person making the transaction may be turning to cryptocurrency precisely because of the privacy protection it provides. That argument may apply particularly to Binance, given its early reputation as an offshore exchange that didn't bow to U.S. government data demands. These people are completely insane and pretend that debanking doesn't happen. These people that make up these bullshit narratives to further this dystopian future of control, they have no idea what it's like to be unbanked. They have no idea what it's like to have their bank accounts frozen. They have no clue what it's like not to be able to transact through the traditional system, okay? These are, the only way I could say, like, these are just first world snobs. You know, like these people just, these are, they do not get it, okay? Like, they really don't. And it's just absolutely disgusting, the framing that's done. You are not a criminal for wanting privacy. You are not a criminal for using cryptocurrency, okay? Never forget, they tried to criminalize people using cell phones when cell phones first came out. Pagers was the same thing. Any technology that disrupts is immediately criminalized, okay? Never forget, when the automobiles first came out, all the horse and buggy people were spreading all kinds of FUD about cars. And it was the same thing with electricity, guys. It's the same story playing out over and over again. This is the old guard desperately hanging on to whatever relevance and control they can. In the case of the Welcome to Video Child Sexual Abuse Materials dark website in 2017, for instance, one alleged abuser was identified and arrested after his email address was tied to an account on the cryptocurrency exchange BTCE, which authorities had seized months earlier. In another case, okay, so again, this is more of the framing, right? You saw what I just read about what the spokesperson said for the EFF. Hey, look, if they're using cryptocurrency, they're doing it for these sensitive data transactions. And here's examples of the types of transactions. Maybe I don't want the government debasing my money. Maybe I don't like that the government prints money out of thin air and these incompetent sociopaths, okay, can't keep their greed in check. Maybe I feel I don't deserve to be a part of that. We're not all fucking drug dealers, okay? This is completely insane. Anyways, another case, BTCE's data allowed IRS criminal investigators to identify a hacker who had taken nearly 70,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road dark web drug market worth more than $3 billion today. So you see that last one's a little bit of a mixed bag, right? You know, so because what they're trying to do is show that, hey, the government went out and was able to retrieve funds, right? But at the same time, they can't hide that that was on an illicit exchange. So it's kind of crappy that they may have helped, quote unquote, criminals maybe get their money back. Who knows? Anyways, look, guys, this is just absolutely brutal. I think this Binance stuff mixed with that ridiculous bill that Senator Warren is trying to push through. I try to think like, is this like having to do with politicians or is this just having to do with baby boomers? You know, and honestly, I don't know. Maybe it just has to do with megalomaniacs. Maybe it has to do with people that can see the writing on the wall, groups of people that can see the writing on the wall. They are going to lose the power. They're going to lose their control, and they need to have this kind of last hurrah. You know, like, I don't know. Either way, I think that article is a fantastic case study for you need to take your Bitcoin off of exchanges. You need to stay sovereign. Either you download yourself the Bitcoin Core software, okay, and maybe use a separate laptop. It all depends on what you're comfortable with your security. You know, I mean, obviously the best thing would be something that is not connected to the internet regularly, and something that has nothing else installed on it. Again, that's if you're doing Bitcoin Core. If you're doing a hardware wallet, then definitely, right, you should be storing your Bitcoin either in Bitcoin Core or a hardware wallet. The point is, stay away from the exchanges. Everything, just like in the Matrix where anyone can be Agent Smith, the exchanges are the same. Any exchange could be Agent Smith, okay? Any exchange just becomes part of the Matrix. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Put the comments down below. This episode is brought to you by Full Throttle Hodl, who wants to remind everybody to go fuck themselves. Stay sovereign. Make sure that you take your Bitcoin off of the exchanges. We don't get a second chance at monetary freedom. This is it. Bitcoin is it. Guys, I will catch you all tomorrow.